Well, as Pastor Risen would say, hi, church.
Hey, church.
It's good to see you again, Pastor Marty.
Good to see you.
And we have Thanksgiving just around the corner.
It is.
And a lot of people are trying to decide, what are we going to do? My neighbor is a pediatrician, and she said 3 times now when she saw it, you're not having anybody in for Thanksgiving, are you?
Oh.
And my wife keeps telling her, no, we're not having anybody in for Thanksgiving. We've not had anyone in for weeks. But
Yeah.
You got anything special going on for Thanksgiving?
Well, you know, since we moved from Kansas to Ohio years ago, we have usually just done me, Gail, and Zachary for Thanksgiving. This year, it could be the first year that Zachary doesn't come home because he is in Nashville, and they're having an outbreak down there. Our outbreak, I think, in Ohio is higher. And so we're just trying to figure out, how smart is it to bring a Nashville person to Ohio? We're not going to lose our family because we miss one Thanksgiving. You know, people go to war and miss holidays. If not to war, to the military, they miss holidays. There are people who have to work on holidays.
Yes.
So missing the holiday, if your family is healthy and your family is happy, you can miss the holiday because there's still future holidays to enjoy. And I just think we need to be very, very careful.
I remember, though, back in the day
Mm-hmm.
when my grandparents had Thanksgiving, it was almost an absolute must if you either show up or bring your death certificate.
That's
one
right.
or the other.
That's right.
For Thanksgiving. But that was almost the only time the family got together.
Yeah.
And because, you know, I'm trying to think, yeah, my grandparents did have a phone back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we had a wooden phone that hung on the wall.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that shows how old I am.
Yeah.
But the communication wasn't as open as it is right now. And yeah, we can make it as a family without being together on Thanksgiving. We can make it as a family and find another way to communicate.
Sure.
And I do think that when we as a parent get upset when our kids can't do something, and we put pressure on them to do something they don't want to do or they don't feel comfortable doing, I think we made a big mistake with our children at that point.
Right.
Because we don't recognize that we trained them up to be an adult.
Yeah.
And we need to allow them to make those adult decisions.
Rational, safe decisions. Yeah.
I remember I was in the Navy and I bought a car.
Mm-hmm.
I traded in my car that I had, and I called my dad and said, Dad, send me the title to my car. I paid for that car, every dime on it.
Yeah.
Dad had the title and in his safe at home. And he said, what you looking at? I said, well, I already bought it. He said, you bought it and you're just now asking me about it? And I thought, I'm not asking you, I'm asking you for the title.
That's right. I'm just telling you what I've done.
You know, but Dad, here I was 20 years old and Dad hadn't given me up to be an adult yet.
Yeah.
You know, and I think sometimes that's an error that we make as a parent.
Yeah.
That we don't understand that our kids are adults.
Right. Yeah.
And I can say my kids and grandchildren make pretty good decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this Thanksgiving, they're going to make their decisions. And I don't know if my daughter will probably have her children at home, but we won't.
Right.
And we're going to understand one another with that.
Sure. And there are ways to do that. Like you said, I think you told me that you're going to FaceTime or Zoom with them during the meal or after. During
the meal.
Fun. Yeah.
And I was thinking of the perks to that.
Yeah.
I was going to save me about $250. I told Terry we can get by with just a turkey breast.
That's right.
We don't need
That's
a
right.
full turkey and all the trimmings, you know, that go with it. But
and nobody's stealing all the mashed potatoes.
oh yeah, and who gets the leg? You know, who gets the?
Well, I'm looking forward to figuring out a way if Zachary isn't able to come home, to play like Monopoly or something. He sets up the game at his house. We set up one at our house using the phone as a camera. There's got to be a way to play a board game long distance. So we're going to figure that one out.
And you would do that. See, I taught all my kids how to cheat playing board games.
Oh, really? Well, yeah.
And I think playing it that way would be, really tough.
It would, yeah.
Well, anyway, we have a great church,
Yeah.
Heritage. You're fitting in well. The people like you and your wife, and all I'm hearing is good.
Well,
And,
thank you.
We're going to plug on ahead.
Yeah.
I think I still have some life in me.
You bet.
So I think that one can chase 1,000, two can chase 10,000.
You bet.
That's
Absolutely.
scriptural somewhere, isn't it?
It should be.
Anyway, we're going to do that, and when we come back together, I think we're going to have learned a lot of lessons.
Absolutely. And, what we're doing right now is we're simply taking it, we're being very careful. And I think God will bless us for being careful.
Yeah, He always has. He
Yeah.
says He gives us wisdom, He gives us power, and He gives us strength. But He gives us wisdom to make good, honest decisions.
Yeah. Tend to want to run out in front of God. And we're trying to say, no, God's going to take care of this. God's going to protect us. And yet at the same time, God is saying, just settle down. Take your time. I have you. Spend time with me. This too shall pass. And if we simply run out and say, I'm not afraid, I don't think that's God honoring. I think God wants us to be cautious and careful.
I think we must be cautious. We're supposed to be cautious and watch. But I want to say something to the folks that have tested positive for COVID or have had it, and or those who've been exposed. And I want you to know, we don't blame you for that. There are no scarlet letters going out from Heritage Church on anyone for any reason. This is a virus. I could get it just as easily as you could get it. Pastor Marty here could get it just as easily as you could get it. So Satan will try to use anything he can use in order to bring you down. And I want you to know, wherever this has went, whoever carried it, whoever has it, whoever's been exposed to it, it's not your fault. It's a virus that any person that's living right now on this earth could get. So I want you to get over that. We're going to pray with you. We're going to pray for you that you get better, just like we have everyone else. And know that God will deliver you from it. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, Marty.
And to you and Terry.
If it wasn't for COVID, we'd have you at our house.
That's right.
With our family. It cost me an extra $50.
That's right. And I would get all the mashed potatoes.
I would let you. No. You'd have to fight over that because we put noodles and chicken on ours.
Oh, yeah, okay. That sounds good.
God bless you, church. So good to have you. Happy Thanksgiving.